Alright guys, welcome to the Wrestling Angle. My name is Chad Z, and I am your host. We did a show last night on AEW Dynamite. It was a pretty good show. They did a nice job covering up the issues that they had on Sunday with their pay-per-view. But today, we are here to talk about NXT and their big title matches that they had last night. And the reason why I decided to do two separate shows is, one, it's easier for me to do the shows separately because with both shows ending at 10 o'clock, it's just difficult for me to do both shows in the same night. And then the other reason is because when I do a show during the day on Thursday, I'm home by myself, and it's easier for me to not have less distractions. So that's that. I did get to watch NXT last night, and I thought it was a pretty good show. I mean, we had Adam Cole versus Finn Balor. We had Io Shirai versus Toni Storm. We had the announcement of the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, which I think it's a good idea to have this, because they have a good portion of the women's roster down in NXT. They have a lot of teams that they can just put together, although that's not one of my biggest things. I don't like it when they mismatch tag teams like that. Tag team wrestling should be like back in the day. You know, the Killer Bees, the British Bulldogs, the Hart Foundation, Demolition, Road Warriors, Midnight Express. I can go on and on. These are guys that teamed on a regular basis. But, you know, they do have teams down there like Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, Candice LeRae, and I can't think of the girl that's with her. I'm terrible with names, and it'll come to me. Mindy something. So we had that. So let's start off with we had William Regal in the ring, and he announced that one of the big announcements that he had was that they were going to NXT TakeOver during WrestleMania weekend is going to be 2 days, which this is big. And with WrestleMania being 2 days, then we should have TakeOver being 2 days. And what it sounds like is that WrestleMania is going to have a good portion of the fans there, which I'm happy for the talent to have somebody to play off against, and I'm happy for us fans who finally get to go back and watch our shows and be there live. So I've never attended WrestleMania. That's one of my bucket list things. I know my daughter really would like to go. The closest that we could possibly get is New York or Toronto. We're closer to Toronto than we are to New York. But that doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon with the borders being closed. So, but that's here nor there. So we got that special announcement that NXT is going to be 2 nights. Then we also got, and it's going to be called NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. So it's going to take place on April 7th and April 8th. Night 1 airs on the USA Network in the current NXT time slot, which is 8 o'clock, and on Wednesday. And then night 2 is going to be exclusively on the Peacock Network the next night, which will be Thursday, and that's going to be taking place at 8 o'clock. An interesting note about the WWE Network being transferred over to the Peacock Network is that not all the content is going to be available right off the bat. The WWE Network is going to cease to exist on a certain date, and they are roughly taking from the time that it ceased to exist till August to get all the content on the Peacock Network. So that's something to keep in mind. I myself chose to go with the premium version of it because I don't want to deal with commercials. Plus, I want to be able to have all the content and all the specials that they have. So not only did we get that, but we also got the announcement of TakeOver Stand and Deliver, but we also got the announcement that the women in NXT are going to have tag team champions. So instead of having a tournament for it, they called all the women out to the stage, and they decided that they were going to give the belts to Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai for winning the Dusty Cup. I really thought that this was a good idea. Rather than go through another tournament, we already had a team that won it. One, I think the biggest mistake was that Dakota Kai decided to shoot off her mouth and basically challenge anybody in the women's locker room to form a team and take them on. And lo and behold, who did we get to answer that challenge? Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. So they come out. They basically challenged Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez for later in the night. So we know that we're going to have another title match to go along. So all three titles are going to be on the line with on NXT. So that was the end of that segment. Then we went right into they showed a package of both Io Shirai and Toni Storm arriving at the building. We went right into this match. So it was a great back and forth match. I thought this was a really good way to start the show. I think, if you're going to, the week before, if you're going to promote the fact that you're going to have two title matches, why not have one of the title matches start off the show? It gets your crowd hot. It gets them excited for the rest of the show. And when you've got two performers out there like Io Shirai and Toni Storm, they can just basically take the crowd over. And they can get them set up for the rest of the night. So NXT did a really nice job with this. There was a lot of interesting things that took place in this match. A lot of back and forth action. Toni Storm, she has got it all. And Io Shirai, the only thing that Io Shirai doesn't have is the mic skills. But Toni Storm is the all-around package. There's a reason why she was the very first NXT UK Women's champion. And there's a reason why her and here we go with the names again. I am so bad with names, it's ridiculous. If I didn't have the name right in front of me on the screen, the problem is that I have a tendency to go off in tangents, and I'm not sticking to my format. Rhea Ripley. I knew I would get it. So her matches with Rhea Ripley were outstanding. And I think it was a really good idea for Triple H to bring her to the NXT Women's US division. And it gives another challenger for that belt. And she can be, and she's a heel, and she can basically work with anybody. So Io Shirai ended up defeating Toni Storm, which was a little bit of a disappointment. I really want to see somebody else have that belt. I think Io Shirai has had it long enough. I don't know who they have in the wings to do that, to take the belt off of her, unless it is Xia Li, who they are pushing big time with this new character that she's got. But right now, Xia Li is involved in a feud with Kaden and Casey Catanzaro. So we got a little bit of time to wait for that. But it'd be interesting to see who she defends the belt against during those 2 days for NXT. Because you know what? I really think that, one, all the titles need to be defended on both days. I think if NXT really wants to take they generally have a good job outshadowing WrestleMania to begin with, but I think if they want to do that this year, even more than what they normally do, I think they should have the belts defended on both days. And regardless of who is the challengers, I think it's a good idea that they do that. So Io Shirai ended up defeating Toni Storm in a very good match to start off the show. The next match that we got, actually they showed a package of Finn Balor backstage in his dressing room, and he basically cut a promo on Adam Cole to set up their match for later in the night, which was going to be the main event. And he said he has defeated Adam Cole before, and he says he's going to defeat him again. Next up, we got Pete Dunne going up against Jake Atlas. I'm not a big Jake Atlas fan. I just don't get this guy. Maybe just because he's not as established as the rest of the roster. But, Pete Dunne, he has really done a nice job. He's slimmed down. And not like he's disgustingly skinny, but where he's lost his weight, he's put on in muscle. And I really think that the next feud for Finn Balor should be against Pete Dunne. And I think Pete Dunne should probably be the one to take that belt off of Finn Balor. But that's my opinion. And then the fact that they got Pat McAfee away from this group makes me happy, because I think McAfee is a complete douchebag. He's a douchebag on his radio talk show, and he's just so damn cocky. And for the position that he played in the NFL as far as a kicker, I mean, nothing against kickers out there. I think we've got a pretty good kicker here in Buffalo. But I mean, come on, dude. It's not like you play the entire game. I mean, what do you kick? You kick maybe 3, 4 field goals in a game, and then you're punting the ball off, whatever, how many times. I mean, you know, every position on a team is important, but to be so braggadocious and be a douchebag, I mean, come on. It's not like you're the friggin' quarterback on a team. And so that's enough about Pat McAfee. So Pete Dunne ended up defeating Jake Atlas. Like I said, I'm not a big Jake Atlas fan. I just don't get. I didn't get his character when he was on the Indies, and I just don't. I can't get behind him now that he's in NXT. So, and not to mention he's going up against Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne's probably one of my favorite wrestlers right now. I like those guys. Guys like him, guys like Finn Balor, guys like Roderick Strong, guys like Kyle O'Reilly. These are guys that are technical wrestlers. For my local promotion, guys like Brandon Thurston and Daniel Garcia and guys like Anthony Gaines. That is the type of wrestling that, and that's the technical style, and that's what Pete Dunne brings to the table. So that's why I think he should be the next challenger for the NXT belt. But we will see what happens. After that match, we get a backstage promo with Leon Ruff. He is now in a feud with Isaiah Swerve Scott, and we're going to get Ruff versus Scott next week on NXT. I've said in the past that I'm not a huge Leon Ruff fan. I think what they're trying to do with him is similar to what they did with Kofi Kingston when he first started in WWE. And not to mention, he reminds me a lot of Kofi Kingston. The only thing he doesn't have is the Jamaican accent. I don't know. I just can't get behind him. And as far as Isaiah Swerve Scott, I was more of a fan of him on the Indies, although his character now is more like the character that he had on the Indies. That cocky heel type. And he's attacking people. He attacked Leon Ruff last week. And, so that's that. So we got that backstage promo cut by Leon Ruff. And so those two are going to be set to have a match take place next week on NXT. So next up, we get the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. They went up against Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. This was a good match. A lot of good tag team maneuvers by Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. You can tell that these two have really been working their craft in the ring. And Ember Moon has been basically known as a singles competitor, and so has Shotzi Blackheart. But they've done a really nice job making themselves into a formidable team. And Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez have done the same thing. I mean, let's take a look. I will compare Dakota Kai and Gonzalez to Shawn Michaels and Diesel when they first won their first tag team titles. You got Shawn Michaels, who was the worker, similar to Dakota Kai, and then you got the big guy Diesel, who for a little bit of time was Shawn Michaels' heater, and you can compare Raquel Gonzalez to Diesel. So, like I said, a lot of great tag team moves by Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. The one thing that really disappointed me in this match is that they let Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart defeat them for the tag team championship. I'm kind of torn on both things. One, they didn't give Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez a chance to hold the belts consistently, but during this match, Raquel Gonzalez got trying to read here. She came face to face with somebody, so it looks like she's going to be going off and doing a singles push against somebody, but I can't remember who it was against. And I apologize for that. So Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart are now the new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. So, and the reason I said that I'm torn is because I like the fact that they gave it to an established team, and that Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon did a lot of nice tag team moves during this match, which makes them look like an actual team. And, Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai did a lot of tag team moves too. So, but I wish they would have just let them hold on to the belts a little bit longer, whether it be a week. But the nice thing about this is it puts interest in the women's tag team division. And it looks like that we're going to have their challengers are going to be Candice LeRae and her partner Mindy something. So like I said, I'm terrible with name guys, so I apologize. Next up we got Adam Cole, and he cut a promo on Balor ahead of their title match that takes place on the main event. Pretty good promo. He got his point across, and he talked about the fact that he had to kick Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly out of Undisputed Era because they were weak, and that he was the leader and he's the one that deserves all the glory. So I'm kind of interested to see what they do with Bobby Fish, because he hasn't been around during this whole thing. To be perfectly honest with you, for the whole Undisputed Era run, Bobby Fish has been out more times than not with injuries. So when he actually comes back, it'd be kind of interested to see what they do with him. I'd like to see them bring him back and repackage him, keep him with the same name, but repackage him as a MMA fighter, because that's what he did in Ring of Honor pretty much before he formed that tag team with Kyle O'Reilly as Red Dragon. And they could reform that tag team and see what happens with that. So the story is all out on when Bobby Fish comes in. So the next match that we got Xia Li, who went up against Caden Carter. Not much to say about this match other than Casey Catanzaro interfered and caused the DQ where Xia Li defeated Caden Carter. As we know, Casey is hurt. To be perfectly honest with you, I think it's not a real injury. It's a kayfabe injury, and because she was walking okay, although she was limping. But I think it's to build up her match with Xia Li. She's going to get some type of revenge on Xia Li. So, then we got a video package of Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark is the one that got her break in NXT by going up against Io Shirai, her very first match. I hate to say this, but she looks like a cookie cutter type wrestler. I see nothing interesting with her. And so hopefully the WWE can do something with her. They talked about her journey and her journey to NXT. I've never seen her on the indies. Doesn't necessarily mean she hasn't been on the indies, but what they could do is they could push her as a homegrown talent, similar to what they did with John Cena. But I don't think Zoe Stark has the charisma that John Cena had. So that's going to be a little bit difficult. We get a backstage segment with Santo Escobar. He's upset and complaining to Regal about Jordan Devlin, who is going to be coming in. As we know, Jordan Devlin never lost the cruiserweight belt, and he had it stripped from him. So now that the travel restrictions are lessened, we're now going to get Jordan Devlin, and he's coming back for his NXT Cruiserweight Championship. So that's why Santos Escobar was upset about that. The funny thing about this was that basically Regal and Escobar were talking at the same time, so you couldn't really understand what they were saying. And I think Escobar was talking in Spanish too, but whatever. So next up we got Joaquin Wilde with Raul Mendoza. They went up against the Grizzled Young Veterans. The only thing to say about this match was the fact that MSK got involved. They came out dressed like Breezango in the spacesuits, and when they took the helmets off, it distracted the Grizzled Young Veterans, and they ended up getting defeated by Mendoza and Wilde. So that furthers the tag team feud with MSK and the Grizzled Young Veterans, and Breezango ended up coming out too, and that continues the feud with Legado di Fantasma. So we're going to get that. Then we get some announcements for next week's show. We're going to get Dexter Lumis versus Austin Theory, Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Leon Ruff, and we're going to get the in-ring debut of LA Knight, who they did a backstage segment last night, and I can't remember because I don't see it here. They did a backstage segment with him, and everybody wanted to know who his first match was going to be against, and I don't see it. So if it comes up in there, like I said, I'm terrible with names, guys, so I apologize. And then we got a tease for next week. Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa are going to go up against Imperium in a tag team match. But that hasn't been made official, and Ciampa did mention it on backstage interview alongside Thatcher. So what it looks like that they're going to do with Timothy Thatcher is they're going to tease a couple weeks with him being courted by Imperium. And they're using this they're using the indies as a reference point for this, because Timothy Thatcher used to tag with Walter, and he also was part of the UK faction. With Walter had his own faction, and basically it was with all those guys with Imperium. So they continued the Imperium faction and moved it over to WWE. The only difference is Timothy Thatcher was part of that, and he's not now. So he's probably gonna eventually turn heel on Tommaso Ciampa, and then we're gonna get a feud between those two. Ciampa also made reference to Walter, how he wants a match for that UK Championship, and that could play into it too. Tommaso Ciampa thinking that he is more of a challenger than Timothy Thatcher would be. Although either match would be good for me. I would love to see Walter come over and defend his belt. Hopefully they get a chance to do that during this 2-night NXT Takeover events, and we go from there. So next up we get our main event. NXT champion Finn Balor versus Adam Cole. It was a really good back and forth match. I don't think either one of these guys has had a bad match since coming to WWE. We did get some interference by Kyle O'Reilly, and it looks like they're going to continue the feud with Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. Finn Balor did end up defeating Adam Cole. You got a couple things coming out of this match. One, we got looks like Finn Balor's next feud is going to be up against Karrion Kross, which, Karrion Kross never lost the NXT belt. So I think he deserves to get that title match and get that belt back, because he really hasn't had a chance to have a run with the belt. And then we're going to have the feud with finally the one-on-one feud with Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. And I'm sure you're going to see Roderick Strong get involved, and probably Bobby Fish if he ends up coming back. So, all in all, a pretty good show. There was talk that eventually NXT is going to move to Tuesdays, because with the NHL season going to be starting in September, I mean, it's going on now, but with the NHL is going to be moving to USA, and they have their Wednesday nights. Sorry, guys, the wind's blowing through my window. It is, by the way, 50 degrees here in Buffalo, New York, or Lewiston, New York, from where I'm at, and I've got my windows open, airing out the house, and the weather is very nice. So, although I'm going to pretty much be inside all day watching TV and playing video games, so like I am a 12-year-old. So speaking of video games, I think what I'm going to start doing is not only am I going to start, I'm going to start streaming some games, and there's a game that I've been playing for right now. It's called Call of the Wild. You can check out a bunch of streamers here on Twitch. They stream this game, and basically it's a hunting game. Now, I'll just take a drink real quick. I don't know why I'm so invested in this game, because as far as shooting animals in real life, I'm not really into that. I've never really shot a gun. There was one time that I did end up shooting a pistol, and I didn't really like it. It was when I was a kid, so we don't have any guns here in the house. My wife is totally against that. And, to be perfectly honest, I have little kids, and I wouldn't want that around them. So, but as far as this game, the aspect of it, what I really like is, one, you have to track the animal. Two, you need to know when their drinking zone, where their drinking and feeding zones are, and their resting zones. And you need to know the times that they show up there. And there's different scales of animals that you can go with. The highest being a diamond. And I don't know why, but the game totally relaxes me. It's something. It's a little unusual. I know that. Just like wrestling relaxes me, this video game relaxes me. So I have, I want to say, I don't have as many hours in as most people that stream this game, but I'm at a level 8, I think I am. So you level up. And there's two maps that I like to play. The starter map is Layton Lake, and the animals that you can shoot on there are duck. You can shoot moose. There's bears. There's deer. The other map that I like to play is SRP, or Silver Ridge Peaks, and you can basically go after bison, mountain goats, lions, mountain lions, and all that type of stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start streaming not only this show, but I'm also going to start streaming my games. Because, to be perfectly honest with you guys, I need to get more viewers on this show. And I have one consistent viewer every single time, and I want to thank that person, even though they don't jump into the chat. I really wish I could get a little bit more fan interaction. That's the reason why I started this show, was to get some more interaction and talk wrestling. But it gets a little boring, just reviewing the shows. Yeah, giving my opinions. That's great, but when I have people that I can interact with, it makes it a lot easier for me to do that, and it makes it a lot more fun streaming. I love doing this stream. I love wrestling. I love video games. I'm currently unemployed right now, so I have get a lot of time on my hands, and I'm actively looking for a job. So anybody that is hiring out there, please give me a shout on my Facebook page. Anybody that's hiring here in Western New York, that would be great. But we're just going to try to change some stuff up. I've been reviewing the shows and doing some watch-alongs, but I think if I start streaming some games, maybe I can get some more viewers. So, and I can only stream games from my PS4 because my computer is not really a gaming machine. It's not a very expensive computer, although I've put a lot of money into it to do this stream. It's not set up for gaming, so I'll be streaming from my PS4, so it'll look a little differently when I'm on there. So, but you know, I have a bunch of games. I have the new Avengers game that I haven't started playing. I got the Call of Duties. I will tell you, I'm not all that great at them. I like playing the story modes more than I do the actual Warzone portion of the games. I got NHL hockey. I got Madden. Both of the latest games of that. I've got WWE wrestling. I've got Fire Pro Wrestling put out by New Japan. Maybe I can even set up a tournament and I can stream that. That would be kind of cool. So, and let the computer play that out. Maybe I can do commentary to it. So I've got all different types of aspects to this show. I'd like to bring on wrestlers and have me interview them. I am finding out that a lot of the guys don't want to talk about the business right now, at least in the local area. The guy that I really would like to get is Daniel Garcia, because he is branching himself out to different areas. And the other guy I'd like to interview is Anthony Gaines, because this is a guy that has basically worked his way up from being setting up to the ring to being a cameraman to now being a worker. So Anthony, if you're out there, I would love to interview you for this show, so keep that in mind. But other than that, I wanted to do the show. I had an interview this morning with a company, and I had a lot of energy coming off that interview. I think it went pretty well, so I wanted to do my show early. I know I had talked about last night starting it at noon, but I decided to do it early, and didn't send a message out on the Facebook page or a tweet. So that could be one of the reasons why I don't have that many viewers, but that's here nor there. Let's see if there's any other news coming out of last night. Oh, the guy that LA Knight is going to be feuding with is Bronson Reed. So there was an altercation backstage last night. I couldn't think of his name earlier on. I don't know if he's going to face Bronson Reed next week. I would think they would want LA Knight to face some enhancement talent to get him over before he starts his feud with Bronson Reed. But he is going to be making his in-ring debut next week. So that was something to look forward to. Let me go through, although I don't like doing this because I haven't watched the show, but let's go through the New Japan results, and I can talk about some of the other shows that I've seen. I had mentioned on my page, my Facebook page for the Wrestling Angle, that if you guys aren't watching the New Japan Cup, you're really missing out on some good matches. So last night, or early this morning, they did New Japan Cup Night 7. The big match was Evil versus Jeff Cobb. Just on a side note, Jeff Cobb is a beast. I mean, this guy has really improved since he started wrestling. And being in New Japan and being part of that British Commonwealth faction with Will Ospreay and the Great O'Khan is just helping him so much. The only thing that he's not doing is he's not doing interviews. And not that he can't do interviews, but that's one thing he's missing. And they don't do a lot of interviews over in Japan. They don't do a lot of interviews before matches. They don't do promos on the backstage like the WWE does. They just get right down to business and they go right to the ring. So let's talk about the results on Night 7. So we had Ishii and Hashi. They defeated David Finlay and Tazuchi. We had Bad Luck Fale, Takahashi and Gato. They defeated Kojima, Honma, and Yumia. We got Okada and Haruki Goto and Yuji Nagata and Sho versus Sonata, Shingo Takai, Naito, and Bushi. On a side note to this, the one thing that I don't like about New Japan is that they do a ton of 6-man and 8-man matches and not a lot of single matches. So right now, I understand it, why they're doing it now, but because this is the New Japan Cup, but and it's a way for all these guys to get on the show, and there's a reason why they're doing it. So I don't know what that reason is, but they're doing it. So Sho ended up pinning Bushi after hitting the shock arrow. We got Tanahashi, Juice Robinson, and Toru Hanai going up against Jay White, Kenta, Chase Owens with Gato. They defeated Robinson, Tanahashi, and Hanai defeated them. Tanahashi used the Texas Cloverleaf to submit Owens. Then we got the New Japan second round matchup with Toru Yano versus the Great O'Khan. This was a surprise because I really thought that the Great O'Khan, this was a great way to get this guy over. I know I was pretty rough on him with my review of Wrestle Kingdom, and I have since been able to watch this guy work, and he really is a good worker. So, but Toru Yano defeated the Great Okan, which is surprising. So Great Okan has been eliminated from the New Japan Cup. And the final match we got was Evil with Dick Togo. He ended up going up against Jeff Cobb. And like I said, I didn't get to see it, but just looking at this, these are two hosses. And it looks like that Evil defeated Jeff Cobb, and which is a surprise, because although not really a surprise if you've watched all the New Japan shows, they're really pushing Evil. I had no idea Evil was part of the Bullet Club Japan, but he is. And so they're pushing him. So he's one of the favorites to win the New Japan Cup. I would have said either him or the Great Okan or Jeff Cobb. But and then Will Ospreay is still in the cup too. So the next, it looks like that Evil advances and faces Yano in the quarterfinals. So he's going to face Toru Yano, which is going to be an interesting matchup, because Toru Yano used to be a young lion, and he's now an established veteran, and he's got this feud going on with Bullet Club. So, like I said, if you guys aren't watching New Japan, you're really missing out on some great matches. When I get off the show today, I'm going to go watch this show, just because, or watch the show before that, because I like to watch the show with the English commentary. I think Kevin Kelly does a nice job color commentating the matches, and sometimes he has a co-host and sometimes he doesn't. So I think that's pretty much it for today, guys. I want to thank everybody for joining me. We've had a couple people pop in and out. Like I said, if you enjoy the show, shoot me a follow here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/thewrestlingangle1. I'm looking to get 50 followers. I wanted it by my birthday on 3/23, but I got 11 days to go, and it probably doesn't look like that's going to happen, because right now I only have 16 followers, although it says 13 at the top there. But that's okay. I'm going to continue doing this show whether I get my followers or not. I love talking about wrestling. It would be great to have more interaction on the show, and it give me somebody to bounce things off of. I know in the past I've had my buddy Gary on. I'm looking to have my buddy Pete, who is also a wrestling fan, on. It's just a matter of working out our schedules. My schedule's wide open. He obviously has a job and I don't, so we have to work things around that. So anyways, you can check me out here on Twitch. You can check me out on YouTube, The Wrestling Angle 1. Check out my Facebook page, The Wrestling Angle 1. I'm always shooting some news up on there. My Facebook page is getting a lot of interaction, which I'm liking a lot. And you can check me out on Instagram, ECW, the number 4, Life. So ECW 4 LFE. And you can also check me out on Twitter, ECW for life. So that's ECW, the number 4 LFE. So that's gonna be the end of the show, and I hope everybody has a great day, and I will check you guys out next time. Talk to everybody soon.